Hello, and welcome to the Designing with Love podcast. I am your host, Jackie Pellegrin, where my goal is to bring you information, tips, and tricks as an instructional designer. Hello, instructional designers and educators. Welcome to episode 73 of the Designing with Love podcast. In this episode, I'll share practical tips for handling scope creep in mid-project changes so you can keep momentum and deliver successful projects. So, grab your notebook, a cup of coffee, and settle in as we explore this topic together. If you're thinking, okay, but what is scope creep exactly? You're not alone. According to Adobe for Business, scope creep occurs when project requirements expand beyond the original plan, which leads to delays, budget overruns, and resource strain. Unfortunately, uncontrolled changes and shifting priorities can quickly turn a well-structured project into a challenging one to manage. In instructional design, it often looks like just one more module. Let's add a scenario, or can we squeeze in another review round? It starts small, then snowballs. Today, I'll walk through 5 practical moves to prevent and manage scope creep, plus a real-world example you can model on your next project. Move 1. Set the guardrails before kickoff. First, let's stop scope creep before it starts, right at the starting line. When we set clear boundaries up front, creep has nowhere to hide. One way you might do this is to create a one-page scope brief. This could contain elements such as the problem you're solving, the audience, measurable objectives, deliverables, an out-of-scope list, the timeline, review rounds, and your definition of done. Next, name a single final approver. Others can be consulted, but one person makes the call. Finally, establish your change path, how requests are submitted, who approves, and how you'll gauge impact. Here's something you could say to your stakeholders. To keep this efficient, here's our scope brief and definition of done. New ideas are welcome. Let's route them through the change step so nothing gets lost. Here's some watchouts. Skip the out-of-scope list and promise as many reviews as it takes. And you've opened the door to unlimited work. With the guardrails set, let's strengthen the relationship that makes them work. Move 2. Build a working alliance with your subject matter experts. Next, let's align with your subject matter experts, because great process only works when the relationship works. Your subject matter expert isn't a gatekeeper, they're your partner. Here, you can open with 2 grounding questions. What must learners do differently after this? What would make you say this was a win? Next, co-create a mini glossary and a must-keep versus nice-to-have list. Then, agree on response time norms and a preferred channel. Finally, share a one-page feedback guide so comments focus on accuracy at the right stage. Here's something you could say to your subject matter expert. I'll own the learning strategy, you own the content accuracy. Together, we'll get to the outcomes that matter. Here's some watchouts. Letting content experts dictate pedagogy and collecting parallel feedback without a single final decider. With the partnership aligned, let's give every idea a home without derailing delivery. Move 3. Manage requests like a product backlog. Then we'll organize the work so it actually ends. Make sure to track requests with a simple backlog and prioritize with Moscow. This stands for must, should, could, and won't for now. This gives you language to say yes, but not today. Next, I recommend establishing time box reviews. Usually 2 rounds works well. Round 1 can be structure and alignment, while round 2 is accuracy only. Finally, ensure you name versions clearly, such as storyboard version 0.9 to version 1.0, and keep a short decision log with the date, the decision, who made it, and why. Here's something you could say when a new idea pops up. Great idea. I'll log it as a could for version 1.1, so we protect the version 1 date. Here's some watchouts. Mixing net new content with final accuracy edits and ending up with file chaos like final, really final. Even with a great backlog, changes still happen, so let's channel them on purpose. Move 4. Tame midstream changes with a clear path. After that, we'll shift from no to yes if. Here, you can use a tiny change request prompt, what it is, why it's needed, learner impact, and the impact triad, which is time, cost, and quality. If one moves, the others flex. Next, offer 2 option framing every time. Implement now and move the date, or keep the date and schedule it for the next release. Finally, maintain a parking lot for future ideas and review it at milestones. Here's something you could say when timing is tight. We can add the scenario now and move launch to November 4th, or keep November 1st and schedule it for version 1.1. Which works best? Here's some watchouts. Gold plating, which is adding extras no one asked for, and undocumented verbal agreements. Now, let me show you how these moves come together in real life. Move 5. Real life example. Rescuing a ballooning microlearning. Finally, let's put you in the moment and walk you through how these moves play out. You're leading a 15-minute onboarding microlearning. 2 weeks in, the quick ads start, a new policy, an extra scenario, just one more quiz item. By the rough cut, your timeline's tight, and the script is creeping towards 60 minutes. You can feel it. Good intentions, but too much content. Here's how you can steer it back on track. Step 1. Re-anchor scope. You bring the group together for a 5-minute reset. You share the 1-page scope brief and reread the definition of done. Instantly, everyone remembers the goal, a tight 15-minute experience focused on 3 measurable behaviors. During this step, you could try saying something like the following. Let's revisit our scope brief and definition of done so we're anchored on the outcome and what version 1 needs to include. Step 2. Prioritize with Moscow. You list every request, no judgment, just capture. Then you tag them, must, should, could, won't for now. 2 items clearly land as musts, the policy update and the new form tutorial. The extended scenario, extra examples, and glossary are coulds. During this step, you could try saying the following. To keep version 1 crisp, I'm marking the policy update and form tutorials as musts. The longer scenario, extra examples, and glossary are coulds. We'll schedule for the next release. Step 3. Negotiate impact. You frame the choice simply and respectfully. During this step, you could try saying the following. We have 2 good paths. We can add the new items now and move launch to November 4th, or keep the November 1st launch and schedule them for version 1.1. Which best serves our learners and the deadline? Step 4. Lock review purpose. You timebox the final review and define what belongs in it. Accuracy only, no new content. During this step, you could try saying the following. This final window is for accuracy checks only. Any new ideas will go into the parking lot for version 1.1. Step 5. Ship version 1, then version 1.1. You publish on time. 2 weeks later, you release version 1.1 with longer scenarios and examples, without crunch, without delays. Here's your anchor line. By protecting the learner outcome and the date, you shipped value twice, once on time and again with meaningful enhancements. Before we wrap up, here's a few rapid-fire pitfalls to keep top of mind. Here's the quick pitfall roundup. First, having no single approver often leads to conflicting edits and stalled decisions. Name one final decision maker up front. Second, writing objectives that aren't behaviors. Make scope fuzzy. State what learners must do, not just what they'll know or understand. Third, Allowing unlimited review rounds invites endless churn. Time box your reviews, 2 rounds with a clear purpose for each. Fourth, keeping decisions only in email threads means nothing sticks. Maintain a simple decision log with the date, the decision, the owner, and the rationale. Fifth, switching tools mid-project adds risk and slows everyone down. Only change tools if there's a critical reason and communicate it clearly. Six, treating late feedback as a backlog derails timelines. Acknowledge it and route it to the next revision, version 1.1, so you can ship on time. Here's some polite boundary scripts. So if you need some language to use on the fly, here's a few you can borrow if you'd like. Here's one for out of scope. That's a strong idea. I'll add it to our parking lot and note the impact if we put it into version 1. Late feedback. To stay on schedule, we'll publish today at 3 p.m. Anything after that will be slated for version 1.1. Here's one for conflicting subject matter experts. I'm seeing different guidance. Can we confirm the single content approver so I can align to one source of truth? If you'd like a plug-and-play resource, grab the free Scope Creep Survival Checklist in the show notes. It includes a 1-page scope brief template, change request prompts, a Moscow quick guide, a parking lot sheet, and a definition of done checklist. Make sure to try it on your next project and let me know how it goes. As a recap, today's 5 moves were: set guardrails before kickoff, build a working subject matter expert alliance, manage requests like a project backlog, tame changes with a clear path, and use the rescue playbook when things balloon. As I conclude this episode, here's an inspiring quote by Dwight D. Eisenhower. Plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Thank you for taking some time to listen to this podcast episode today. Your support means the world to me. If you'd like to help keep the podcast going, you can share it with a friend or colleague, leave a heartfelt review, or offer a monetary contribution. Every act of support, big or small, makes a difference, and I'm truly thankful for you.